Welcome to my Global Challenge channel. I am Simon. I am riding a Royal Enfield Himalayan, aiming to ride from Canada to Ushuaia, Argentina, despite having dyslexia and having lots of challenges along the way. Myself, Paul and Randy, and with his dog Doc Holiday, we're just getting ourselves ready to go out for a day's ride. As last night when we was at the bar, we was talking and they suggested there's some really good mountain passes to ride around and there's some good stuff to see as well, so they took me around the area and we had a good day's ride out. So with Paul in head, and he decided to stop off at this little spot to have a little rest and to have a drink as well. As in America and Canada, people like to have a few beers now and again whilst out riding, I've noticed. And Doc Holiday wanted a nice little swim in the river as well.
there's a few spots, yeah, where it's pretty.
There was a couple of spots. I was having fun in the twisties.
It's up to you guys. I mean, there's some spots.
Well, you guys could stop.
Yeah. I've been yeah, this is a nice area.
Let's have a beer.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I thought maybe you were there. I see a couple places.
Well, I stopped there, but I go, you weren't right behind me, so I was like, I'll just pull up to the lake. He had 3-4 problems on the road, and one of them was the inner primary case was cracking around the drive barrel. So one guy fixed it in Iowa, and all he did was JB weld it and got us on the road. We got to Rapid City, South Dakota, and it was clunking again. So he took it to a Harley shop, and the guy said, I can't believe that mechanic in frickin' Iowa JB welded it, because that could have just come apart on you and you would have had a failure.
Yeah.
And it would have locked everything up. He couldn't believe that this guy did that. The guy did it to get us back on the road, but the thing is that was unsafe. So fortunately, but anyway, my friend held us up for over 5 days out of a 3-week trip. And we got to the Rider Rally Mag.
On the way back to CC's after our ride out today, I needed to do a surface on my bike. As I decided to stay there a couple of days longer, I decided to do an oil change. So we stopped off in town to get some oil, and the next day I decided to do my oil change. And change my tyres because they was very low, and I also needed to change my brake pads. And you mostly can tell soon that changing my tyres for the first time wasn't as easy. It took me a long time, but I got there in the end, and Randy helped me taking a few pictures and also helped me doing my tyres and my brake pads as well. So thank you very much, Randy, for all your help. CC had another bunker biker stay there whilst me and Randy were there, but he was only there for one night and he left reasonably quick, and then Randy was getting ready to leave as well, and so saying bye to Randy with Doc Holliday in his sidecar. And then it was time for myself to say bye to CC and her friends. So when I left Denver and heading towards Kansas, the weather changed very quickly, so I had to stop and put my waterproofs on because it was cold, miserable, windy, and there's drizzle, rain. So little stop, put my waterproofs on, and then carried on. As I was riding along, I noticed the Kansas sign, so I stopped and took a few pictures with the sign with my bike and myself. It was cool, and everyone kept saying how boring Kansas is, really flat, long, but for me it was quite interesting. It's just a shame about the cold, windy, miserable rain, but I had a good time riding in Kansas. I arranged to stay with Howard, another bunker biker, in Kansas, right on the border to Nebraska.
And they only did him 1 year with Harley. And then I said, that's a buddy of mine, he stores it here. That's my daughter-in-law's. And then that one is the wife's, that's what she rides. And then this one is my show bike. I call it my memorial bike. And what happened, how it started was this guy here, Joe Sweet. He got murdered by a crackhead, guy that was high on methamphetamines, and he got murdered. He lived in our old house that I used to live in. And so it started with that, and then on the bike, total on the bike right now is 4 names of just friends that I've lost over the years. So, had a guy up in Utah, I want to do,
which he's just showed me around his garage with his bikes. And now show me around his man cave in the back with all his bike trivia stuff. So I decided to leave Howard's house the next morning and head to Chicago, as I needed to get there reasonably quick because it was my uncle's wife's birthday party on the weekend, and I only had a couple of days left to get to his place in Chicago. So when I decided to leave, I was heading into Nebraska, and my sat-nav kept on telling me to take country roads, but it had been raining a lot in Kansas and Nebraska for the last few days, so I kept not wanting to go down country roads. Eventually my sat-nav kept telling me I had to go down these country lanes, so this particular one I decided to go down. As you mostly can see by the videos, it didn't end well. I ended up coming off my bike, and because of my cameras, because of my dash cams on my bike have been playing up a lot, I didn't record any of the falling off, which was a bit of a gutting because it was a good little crash, and it was gutting my cameras didn't record it, and because where I was on my own, no one was about, I forgot to take any pictures or anything as well, so it was a bit rubbish of myself. In this video you can see how badly I fell with my bike, because my handlebars actually got bent and my foot actually got stuck underneath my bike, but I didn't want to take my boot off because it happened first thing in the morning, and I had 350 miles to ride this day, which was a long day, but it ended up taking longer because I had lots of roadworks, different diversion roads because of roadworks, which ended up being nearly 400 miles this day. And by the time I got to Sharon's, another bunker biker lady who I stayed with, I was able to take my boot off and have a good look at my foot, and I could move all my toes and my foot, so I didn't think much of it, but when I took my boot off it was very swollen. And then the next day I had to get to my uncle's, so I had another 350 miles to ride, and the foot which was hurt was my gear foot as well, and because of my handlebars were bent, my clutch ended up being very stiff as well, so it was hard work, painful and wet, windy still, but I got to my uncle's no problem in the end, and I was able to rest for a few days, and I've got some photos of my foot in the next video to have a look at, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that then. this day I was getting really annoyed with my sat nav because it just kept taking me down weird roads which were not nice to ride on, as my foot was really hurting. Stopped to have a look on for Google Maps to find out where I was going, and because of my sat nav just kept on taking me to weird places, especially in towns. Instead of going through the towns, it just took me on big detours. So today was just a really hard day and I was just getting really annoyed with everything. Watching, click the like button and subscribe. Thank you.